During lunch you were talking about two upcoming events that you're bringing to town over the next 3 years and the size and scope of those. Can you go into those two and talk about the genesis of them?
Yeah, a lot of people may not realize in 2013 and 14, Cleveland will host what in both years will likely be the largest sporting events in America. In 2013, an event called the National Senior Games is coming to town. It's held every 2 years. It's basically, and it's marked as the Senior Olympics. The event will have somewhere between 13 and 14,000 athletes that will come to town, and based on research, probably about another 20,000 friends and family who will come over a 2-week period. I mean, think about it, it's about the size of the Summer Olympic Games in terms of athletes. And they'll compete in 19 different sports all over the community, and the economic impact of that event is probably going to be roughly, in the $40 million range in terms of the dollars that will be spent here during that time. And in 2014, the Gay Games, which is held every 4 years, in essence the Gay Olympics, held somewhere around the world. It was last in Cologne, Germany last summer. That'll be held here in 2014 in very comparable numbers, 10 to 12,000 athletes, and what's expected to be 20,000 plus people, friends, family, and others who will come in from around the world for the event. These are, I have to tell you, they're very, very big undertakings, and in both cases, the organization that owns the Gay Games, called the Federation of Gay Games, they have no full-time staff. It's an entirely volunteer board from around the world. And in the case of the National Senior Games, there's only 5 full-time staff, and they really aren't involved in the games themselves. They help manage their membership and the 50 state games around the country. So you think in both of those cases, it falls upon this community to run and manage these events. So it's not as simple as, hey, let's get them here, let's sell them on Cleveland, and when they come, we can wipe our brow and pat ourselves on the back. And it's really, that's getting them here in many ways with events like that is probably 10% of the work. The other 90% comes once the event is awarded. Now you have to figure out what you do to put it on. And I'd say in both of those cases, give or take, probably $4 to $5 million has to be raised in cash and in kind. It takes a real infrastructure to do that. It takes a whole infrastructure to run and manage. You're looking at the housing, transportation, sports, entertainment, security. There's so many factors involved. And in both of those cases, we as a community, Sports Commission and others, are involved in getting the people here. So it's not simply, it's not as simple as, if you open up the doors, they'll come. We have to do a lot of marketing so we can make sure instead of 10,000 athletes, we have 14,000. If we're going to throw a party, we want to throw the biggest party. And if we're going to do it, we want to do it right and do what's best for the community. So they're big undertakings, but the other thing, I think that it presents a tremendous opportunity for this community. If we walk away from those doing what we expect to do at those events, and in both cases what we've told the event owners is, our goal is nothing less than that we host the best senior games that's ever happened and the best gay game that's ever happened. And we believe in our head and hearts that we have the ability to do that. And if we do that, Cleveland's standing in not just in the U.S. but in the world as a community that can host the biggest events in the world will continue to help us get events back of that size and caliber.